Here's the thing.
No.
If I say, huh? It just means say it again because I'm getting old. Just celebrated that birthday and the hearing is not coming back.
And every Sunday I live with my parents now and I tell them assisted living. We're going to talk about their hearing aids.
I mean, I do have them, but I can't wear them with the headphones. It'd be too much feedback.
This is a problem other people have already resolved,
How'd they resolve it?
I don't know, but this feels very Googleable.
Oh, well, we'll Google that later.
Hi. Welcome to Hi. Welcome to Lights On, a Neuro Collective Moms podcast. Amanda never knows the name of our show, and now I apparently don't either.
Megan, I give it a new name every time.
She also doesn't know her email address. She's like, email me at amandaream@amandaream.com. And I'm like, that's not a website. It's not real. We met like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, when you were bribing me with the M&M.
I'm going to do it.
Yes, please.
We're at the beach and my son's girlfriend's here and she made me a coffee and I told her she was a really good barista and I Venmoed her $1 and I think I annoyed her and honestly it made me laugh. Don't think I will Venmo you 68 cents for M&Ms.
Please do, but also it seems like she should be happy to be at the beach.
She's very happy to be at the beach.
Yeah.
it's
All right.
really beautiful. We saw some dolphins.
Did.
I'm just going to offer you this finger.
It's basically what MacKenzie said to you.
I know.
Correct. I mean, we've been through a tornado.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday, rain that people treated like it was tornado number 2.
I know.
Oh.
You guys should really be here with us.
We went to a winery that was mediocre yesterday. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't great.
Wasn't great.
It was fine. It's fine.
We're just suffering.
Okay. Where we are suffering is that the light on me makes me green and you have the nicer light and you're not green. I just want people to know at home that I'm not really green. All right, let's hit it. Hit it.
Oh, my God.
This feels like a Wicked reference.
I'm just a baby. Anyways. All right.
We're not doing couples counseling today, right?
Oh, I don't think you understand.
There's no hope for this couple.
We were just trying to figure out how to not pay the deductible. We tricked you. You didn't take our insurance, so we invited you on our podcast.
Free console.
We were literally taking the picture off the wall and she's like carrying it. And I was just like pulling the side of it. And I'm like, she's like, oh, you're really
She was,
helping.
like, barely touching. I'm carrying this like giant, like 6 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot. And she's just like touching it. I was like, you're actually in the way, Amanda. You're not.
I'm like, I'm sorry, Trav.
It's metaphorical right now. I do expect my 68 cents for the M&Ms.
I think I should look into inflation. All right.
Okay.
Let's hit it.
Got my intro right here, Megan.
Right.
Oh. All right. I can't remember all this stuff. And you're fabulous. And we want to give all the accolades. All right.
That feels like that's the intro right there.
Right. And Claudia, you have to start by saying who we are and where we are and then introduce her.
Where
And
we
then
are.
right-
No, I mean like
Podcast.
the name of the podcast.
It says it in the intro.
I'm not editing any of this out. It's an entire disaster. This is where we lose all of our subscribers.
No, this is like TikTok gold.
That's what we bring to the party.
Okay, it is.
Hit a bus.
All right. Welcome to Lights On, a Neuromoms podcast.
Neuromoms Collective podcast.
Whatever. I missed some of the words. Anyway, today we are welcoming Megan Campbell to our Lights On podcast. Megan is a board certified art therapist, licensed clinical professional counselor, the owner of Rise and Thrive Wellness, and honestly, one of those people that seems to do all the things and do all the things really well. And we are so happy to have her here. She brings with her 10 years of experience in leadership, education, supervision, and clinical work. She has built a thriving group practice with 2 offices to support individuals and families in meaningful and personal ways. She also is deeply involved in art therapy, both at the state and national level, and has trained and mentored future therapists, speaking on topics like burnout, organizational culture, and just incredibly passionate about helping people and the profession who care about them. And even on a more personal level, Megan is someone who is connected to our family through my daughter, MacKenzie. So it feels.
She's producing me in the back here.
There she is. So it feels especially meaningful to have her with us today. So Megan, we are so thankful that you are joining us for these conversations. So Erin and I are happy to have you here. We just want to have some conversations. We are in our season 2, our conversations around season 2, around relationships. This space and podcast you are familiar with because you are a fellow podcaster and I am a follower of your podcast.
That feels wild to say out loud.
What?
It feels wild to say out loud that I have a podcast.
You do, and the name of your podcast is?
You're not going to say it?
No, you are.
Because it's called I Have Shit to Say.
Oh, me oh my.
Yes, I know. I was wondering if I could talk her into saying a swear word. So it is an explicit mental health podcast.
It is. And I am a listener. I follow along. And I have learned some things. I've taken some things away, and I appreciate it. I appreciate your honest and, truthful heart-to-heart conversations that you have. And we're here to have those conversations today. And we are looking to you for your expert advice, but also just your real conversations. Erin and I, we are moms, and we do not pretend to be a professional when it comes to mental health. But we have tried to navigate those spaces with our kids, your producer behind you, walk alongside her. And I'm just thankful that we're allowed to be in those spaces. And so we are just here to have some conversations today.
Megan, you should know that when she listens to your podcast, because she's not a swearer, that when you swear, she makes beep noises out loud. You swear, and she just goes beep, beep, just walks around the house beeping. It's really adorable. And I'm like, oh, you're listening to
anything from the podcast? If she beeps.
You guys are silly. We're silly. Anyways.
Megan, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, the next question before we get started is I have learned a lot of enunciation and pronunciation differences from Oregon to Michigan. And I would say Campbell, but she says Campbell. What do you say?
She's not really a true Midwesterner, so I'm not really sure she can help us with our pronunciation.
But pause. When you said elementary, were you meaning like elementary school?
Yeah, elementary.
Okay. I need to know. It took me a hot second to even know what we were talking about.
I need you to know that the first time I heard it pronounced that way, MacKenzie said it, and I thought it was an artifact of a brain injury.
Oh.
And then Amanda said it, and I was like, oh, maybe that's what they say.
Maybe it's genetic and not even geographic.
You guys just sound the same.
Well, I always thought it was because I was a speech therapist and I like to say all of my sounds in my words. So that's what I was attributing it to. I don't know.
That would track.
All right. So we are on season 2 of our pod. And moving on. Here we are. So we are on season 2 of our pod. And this season is about relationships, like Amanda said. And one of the big challenges and excitements that we've had as the parents of TBI survivors is the sad parts have been watching them not have the relationships, whether that's friendship or romance or even relationships within their own family that they used to have, and the way that that has changed, and trying to figure out how we can support them without ourselves adding to their burden by us not doing the best that we can do, and sometimes like overprotecting and speaking for them too much and that kind of thing. So we were hoping that you would be willing to talk to us a little bit about how you think caregivers of TBI survivors can think about ways to support their TBI survivors as they go out into the world and reestablish or develop new relationships. I know it's a huge topic, but kind of what
is a huge topic, but a great topic to cover. And I think right off the bat, a few things come up for me is first the idea of disenfranchised grief. So the idea that we have grief that isn't necessarily honored by the world. So there's not necessarily a death or a loss of life, but there's a loss of expectations or a loss of a relationship. And so it's just kind of this idea that the grief is what they're going through. And also you as a caregiver, and maybe the change in what their relationships look like or the things that they can do. And so I think, first of all, just even being able to acknowledge that grief is a part of that process is really important. And just knowing that, like, there's a name for it, it's really helpful. And so I think there's that. And then something else you're kind of talking about alludes to this idea of high functioning codependency. So we are talking about as parents not speaking for them, or caregivers not kind of overly fixing things for them. And I think that's really hard to watch your child struggle and then not to want to fix it for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so really taking on their burden without them asking can make it really difficult for them to learn the lessons and process and problem solve the things that are theirs to process and manage and deal with. And then separately, you're having a secondary experience where your relationships are also changing and you don't need them to fix yours. And so it's so connected, but it's also separate. And so when I work with caregivers, I think the piece that's really important is for them to acknowledge their piece and how it's separate. It's maybe connected, but it's still separate from the person that they're supporting, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah. And, you know, you talked about in one of your podcasts, the disenfranchised grief. And that really struck me because I had not heard of that before.
yeah. And that shows up in so many ways, right? I think we think about it specifically sometimes with baby loss, but we also think about it in terms of like job loss or expectations or the loss of an opportunity or even just all the moments you thought were going to happen and all those expectations you might have had in the relationship that maybe won't occur, happen. And I think that happens at different stages, right? Depending on where your child or your person has experienced their TBI, then in different phases of life, you're going to have different levels of disenfranchised grief, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I like having a title for that. I like that word because we've talked about it before, you know, just the grieving process in different stages. I know we talked a lot about it with Jen when she was on too, but I think it's just so important to recognize.
And the grief doesn't go away. I think I really like that metaphor, the idea that grief is this button. And when it first happens, the box is really small and the ball that's in the box hits the button so much. And over time, the box gets bigger and bigger. And so maybe the ball doesn't hit the button as often, but the button's still the same size.
Yeah.
It's just the context in which the button exists might grow and shrink depending on what you're experiencing in your own life.
Mm-hmm.
Which is hard because I think we just think like, oh, like 5 years, 10 years, like I should be okay with it. No, it comes up in all different kinds of ways, seasonally or with specific sights, taste, touch, sound, smells, and it's all different for you versus your person, which is really hard too.
Yeah.
What made you get involved in this line of work?
Just being a therapist?
Yeah. And yeah, but you know, being a therapist and really making space for TBI recovery and grief, like what called you to that?
Yeah, so I think a lot of different things, but specifically, I'm an art therapist. And I would say in my own experience, I experienced so many different things that I didn't have words for, right? I had, for all intents and purposes, a pretty great upbringing. And kind of in emerging adulthood, I hit some pretty big barriers in my life. And I saw a therapist, and it was fine.
Yeah.
It was good. We could talk about it, you know. but I didn't really experience some of the healing or the change that I needed until I got into nonverbal processing. So movement, art, and what in therapy we call somatic work. And so then I started also working with kids with disabilities, a variety of disabilities, and some of them that didn't speak either. Some of them medical, some mental health. And the ability for the art to speak for them was so huge. And so that's really what drew me into art therapy. And then in the last 15 years, I've just seen it grow. And also the field has grown into understanding the brain more and the malleability of brain. And that there's so much we experience that the English language, and that's why I like the colorful language. Sometimes I don't know what to say unless it's fuck. So, beep, or I could draw a picture. Yeah, beep, 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 beep. What's in?
I couldn't resist. Sorry.
I'm here for it. Whatever your beep looks like.
I'm from Portland. We don't beep anything. You raise it up. Amplify.
So, because there aren't words.
There aren't words.
Right? And when we think about the brain, words live in our frontal lobe. It's all that problem solving and executive functioning. And so when you think about somebody who's struggling with a brain injury, you're also to verbally process with them and expect them to fully comprehend, to fully understand. I was like, our brains aren't even fully developed until we're like 27, 28.
Yeah.
And then you add an injury in there, and then we're just like, wah, 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 wah. It's wild.
Yeah.
But we keep just doing that for interventions. So I think that is my draw, is that I see the healing through arts. And it's also proven over and over and over again. So it's a long-winded answer.
That's okay. I have editing tools. So